My friend and guest is Antonio. He's from Italy because I love the way he communicates and the way he expresses himself. And then prior to recording this, he brought up a thing that we should talk about, which I really loved, and I haven't had anybody ask me this question, so it's kind of exciting. So, Antonio, why don't you tell us what we're going to talk about today?
How does all this unfolding, how does all this exploration relates to your relationships? Mm-hmm. So, for example, with colleagues or friends, or, for example, you see that all the things in society that are, you see that they are made up. In these days, I wrote all the problems you have about yourself. You don't feel good about this. You feel that you're not okay. Mm-hmm. And I've seen clearly that when it is like this, it is because I am believing some other people ideas. Mm-hmm. And not to believe some ideas that are so, like having a family, for example, or having a career, or planning your future. Mm-hmm. Not being so close to that kind of, I called it, I don't know if it's good in English, hallucination.
Yeah, it is a hallucination. And I really like that. I really like the topic because a lot of the emails that I get from people are talking about, that they feel that they have awakened or that they have come to realize something. And I've really been paying a lot of attention to that recently, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit further. But when they write in that way, they feel that they have kind of realized some sort of like non-duality philosophy, and that because of that, their personal lives are falling apart. Right? So in that idea that your life is falling apart, and that because you've realized that there's no meaning to anything, that means that something has really happened. And to me, for somebody to say that something has really happened, or that there is non-duality, or that there's anything then other than what is happening in our direct lives, makes it appear that something has been realized. And in my experience, what I keep realizing is that I haven't realized much of anything. There is no non-duality. There's only duality as a word, and there's only non-duality as a word. But my lived sense, my contact that I make with my life every day, has no way that it could fit into any kind of idea or anything whatsoever. It's just not available to me. And that idea that I get people contacting me like, oh, I feel like I don't want to do anything with my life and all of that. We're blaming it on non-duality, but maybe it's just our lives taking the shape that it's taking. But we want to claim that because it feels very comfortable, or better said, it felt very comfortable for me to say, I don't longer want to work because I've realized something, or I no longer want to participate in this type of activity in my life because I've realized something. And what I really have come to understand is that whatever reason I give towards it, the direct contact that I make with my life, the lived sense of it, it has no reason. It's just what's happening.
Yeah. So for you, it's even easier in a way, because even the idea of realization is an idea.
Yeah, to me, the realization of non-duality or enlightenment or awakening is just as much a duality with life. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just like saying that I'm enlightened, or I'm a non-dualist, or I'm a vegan, or whatever you come up with. It's still somehow creating a perspective over here, and I don't even really know, other than in a thought, that there is such a thing as a perspective. If I say it's me that's having that experience, that's just a thought. But then I say, oh, but I'm the one, picking up this glass of water. It is me. But I learned all of that. But this that's happening, whatever's happening, doesn't seem to have me outside of it. I'm never separate from it. So why would I need to realize that? Because it doesn't ask for my permission, right? But in the mental world, it seems like I'm giving it permission, that I'm finally realizing it. It's not asking for that. It's already happening. That's why there's nothing to realize, in my opinion. There's nothing to understand. This is just what's happening. And it doesn't need me to understand it. To be none of the things that I talk about is not the denial of anything. It's kind of just the recognition that anything is possible. Division, separation, suffering. It seems that I have had all those experiences. I've had awakening experience. I've had enlightenment. I've had all of that, and all of it, it seems to be happening. The experience that I haven't had yet is the ability to fly. But, for me to just take off and jump out this window and just start flying, that hasn't been available. But there's no reason why that has to be denied either. Whatever, it seems that what we're talking about seems, from this perspective, only possible to a human being, right? The only animal that can perceive itself separate from what is happening is a human being, because at least what we understand from animals is that they somehow seem a part of this. But we can think it, so it seems that we're a part. And it's never a part. We've never found ourselves away from this that's happening. To me, it doesn't even feel, though, that I'm watching the movie. It seems like I am the movie. I can't be separate. I can't watch this movie because I'm the actor in the movie. And I'm every part of it. Like, without me, there is no movie. I'm like the most important star. It's all about me. That's all. That's why I always say self can only see self, because it's all about me. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no, for me, the fact that I can see that self is just a thought, it doesn't need to be denied. It doesn't need to be corrected. It doesn't need to be. It's just, that's what's happening.
It's one of the most recurring faults.
Yeah, it's like, have you noticed every thought is about me? Every self-reflective thought is about me. And people think, I have so many people contact me and they think that because the name of the site is called No Way, No Self, they think, okay, so he is offering a possibility of removing the self. And I'm saying, no, just look at what self is. And your mind will say, no way, there is no self, because mind is just self. There's just the self all the time. It's always, what am I going to do? What am I going to eat? What is that person doing to me? Did I get it? Did I not get it? Am I doing it right? And there doesn't seem to be. That seems to happen quite naturally. It doesn't need to be corrected like spirituality seems to imply. I don't need to become awareness of my thoughts. I don't need to be consciousness. I just realize that that's just thoughts.
Yeah. I was dreaming last night and I heard this voice while I was dreaming. And it was about thoughts. And it says something like, don't worry about if you have many thoughts. The center of the thoughts is empty. There's no one. There's no one in the center.
Because if we go to find the thinker, what we end up finding out is that there's nobody thinking. That's what's amazing about that. The fact that self, right, whatever thought we come up is most likely about ourselves, right? It's somehow reflective on ourselves. That motion, to see the emptiness of that is such a relief, to realize it's just thoughts. To lose the importance of yourself by realizing that you're just a thought is a huge relief. But that's not an awakening. That's just like a little, to me, that's just like a trick. If you just look, you find nothing. Like, there's nothing to find. You will never find anything that you're looking for. You just get to do some things that you like to do. And that's such a relief, to finally not have to find something. And it doesn't exclude me from being unhappy. Because people think, oh, because I talk about things the way that I do, that means that I don't have unhappiness. There's many times where things really, really matter. And I get very, very angry and very upset and very sad. And all of those experiences are happening. There's nothing, doesn't seem to be a problem for me to get upset. But if I'm not supposed to get upset, it's a real problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I like about one of the things that I criticize about non-duality is also kind of fun is that, you could just play with that forever, You can just sit there and figure out that everything is one and that there's no meaning and all of that. But now I'm kind of more excited and it's like, playing with meaning,
Yes.
I like it that you can, and the more, if I honestly, really kind of look, there are some things that are very, very meaningful to me and I don't need to deny them or find their emptiness. And a lot of people contact me and it kind of makes me sad sometimes because I feel bad when people are trying to deny a part of their lives, that could have a lot of value. Some people are like, oh, I know I shouldn't be doing this, or they should themselves. Like if there's some sort of problem with what they're doing and that somehow should be corrected. And I feel it's such a great gift to have something mean something in your life. Why deny that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when somebody told me that I was just a thought, I could not believe that it was possible. There's no way that I'm just a thought. I just could not believe it. Ajay Shanti was the one that told me that. He said, "You're just a thought." And I said, no way, no way. I could not believe it. That's what the no way, no self comes from. There's no way that I'm not a self. There's no way that no self is real, And I just couldn't believe it. And then one day I realized, well, the only thing I could come up with to describe myself is just a thought. So in a way, he was right, And it's true when you tell somebody that you don't want to participate in a certain type of dynamic anymore that's very socialized, it's people get very upset,
Yeah.
Even when I tell people, people ask me every week, somebody asks me, what is it that you're going to do with your life? And I say, I don't know. And they get upset because they feel that they should know, and that if you don't know, you're kind of harming yourself and the people that are related to you or associated with you. Me, my life is meaningless, but I put value on certain things. My life is absolutely meaningless. It doesn't seem that if an asteroid hit this body, that the universe would not argue with that. So it seems quite natural for this thing to die whenever it wants to.
It's another it's another way to see meaningless.
Yeah.
In your view, meaningless is wow.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what a gift. Finally, like, it matters. And some things do matter. Like if my daughter got sick, if anybody in my family, my friends, even like I worry about Joey, like when Joey's sick or he tells me he's not feeling good, I worry about him. I've even cried about it, and I've never even met Joey in person, but that's just the way I am. But yet, it's what's happening and there's nothing I can really do about it. And if there was anything that I could do, I would go do it. What I'm talking about is kind of like a dead end. You don't want this. What I have, you don't want if you want to kind of be a part of society in a very functional way, a very successful person. Because what I'm talking about is absolute hopelessness, And the only thing that seems to be offered and what causes us to become enslaved by our jobs is a sense of hope. And I have been lucky, I don't know how I'm going to survive financially, but I've been lucky to be robbed of hope. To lose all hope has been such a gift.
Yeah. And the thing that really touched me and it happened with Benjamin Smythe when he was here in Italy. He said to me something that really made me cry, almost cry.
Yeah.
If we don't share, this is terrible. It's like now I'm really starting to see, like if you have 100 euros, I have it there, but they are not mine. I feel it. And when you see that they are not yours, maybe you don't have to, because it's not a moralistic way.
Yeah.
But it's easier to share, and maybe sharing could be something that goes along with what you're saying. It will make it easier to share and to feel good in this, to feel, yes, following your
Yeah, following, like, and I talked about it before, it's like I'm following my heart. I don't need somebody's acknowledgement of how great I am. You know, and when I first started writing the blog, I think I wanted to be noticed. I wanted someone to say, wow, you're really great. You're doing something that really has value, because I wanted to feel good. And I didn't realize that there was still something there that was for me. It was like kind of a new career. And what I really realized is, like, nobody could give me anything, you know?
Yeah.
And I've always been that person, you know, please like me. And to get that, that desire kind of removed, to see it for what it was, has been such a relief. To no longer need somebody to like me has been really, really nice. And it still makes me uncomfortable. Occasionally I'll say something, you know, like I was saying at that party. After a while, people started to hear what I was saying, and it made me very uncomfortable. I'm like, oh God, they're not going to like me, you know? And immediately I was like, and then, you know, I got in my car, went home, and I was thinking about what I had said, and I was like, do I really need these people to like me? And I knew something in me, immediately in me, said self can only see self. So what they were seeing is whatever story. They could not see me.
Yeah.
You know, and I could not see them. That's the greatest gift of self, is that you have no ability to understand what it's like for Antonio, but you, by sharing, like you said before, you make this connection. Your unseeable parts come together, you know, and that's when it's like, that's when, to me, some magic starts to happen. That's when we connect with that innate intelligence, when we're available to share, you know, like you said. That's a really amazing experience.
Yes.
Like, it feels comfortable for me to live now, is to really take a chance, even though everything in my system, whatever I take myself to be, just is constantly, you know, not enjoying this process. It wants security, and it wants this, and it wants that, and it's like, to just put that down and say, it's okay, you know. You know, it's like a crazy animal, and you just put it down, it's okay, you can calm down. Then, you know, and then it gets worked up again, and you say, it's okay, and you just go about whatever feels to be true. You know, it's a very wild ride. It's a wild ride.
Yes, wild ride.
Yeah.
In this conversation, I really felt the freedom that is maybe the true calling of the spirituality. We go into spirituality, but we don't really care about what spirituality is supposed to be. We just want to have this freedom, and that embraces also fear and also this wild ride.
Yeah, it seems that that's the way. I don't even know. To me, the word spirituality is hard to, like, if somebody asked me what spirituality meant to me, it would be another type of ground, like another construct that makes me feel that my life is okay, And I really have been paying attention to that a lot lately, is when people say, is there enlightenment? Can I awaken? Can I become more of a spiritual person? What they're asking for is something very, very innocent that we were maybe sold before we were even born, in a way, because that's how strong it feels, is that we were sold this idea that there's something called ground, some sort of stable, something that's okay. And what I talk about is this hopelessness, this complete ability to hold anything is the only thing that's always available, and it has no ground to it, and it feels very scary at times.
Yeah.
Very, very scary. And I totally understand people's desire to want ground. And I think it's amazing that people can live with ground, that people believe in it. And, I believed in it too, but I just kept kind of getting upset, and I couldn't understand why it wasn't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just went away one day, and then that was it. There was no ground. There was no hope. There was no place where things are going to get better. There was just not knowing. And that, to me, if we were going to find a word for spirituality, would be able to take what is internally felt, and can we live that out in our lives? Can that express itself? Can I do that? Can I find whatever is felt in this system? Because, right, it feels like we can locate it, we can touch it. Can I take this system of internality and externalize it? Can we make that external? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but it seems that I'm making an attempt in that way. Can I live from this internal place and express that to other people? And it might not be easy. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Antonio.
Thanks for this conversation.
No, I always enjoy talking to you. You have an amazing way about you. I can't describe it because I feel like I would do it a disservice, but it's nice to be in your presence.
Yeah, the same, because it's like the clarity that comes out. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Life is speaking very, very clearly. Yes.
Yeah, life does a better job than we could ever do. Seems
Yeah.
like it's better at it than we are. Thank God, right? So I'm glad I'm not in charge.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Antonio.